One thing I've always loved looking at on this channel are glitches. And thankfully the Super Mario Bros. Series is chocked full of them, where I've gone over many different types up to this point in my career, showcasing some fascinating ones that are always fun to try out. One of my favorite topics on this subject was seeing instances where a mustachioed hero can get stuck. Already making a video about a bunch of them, but believe it or not, there's even more. Where today, I decided on making one about the instances where you can get trapped in every Mario game. Some of these are harmless, some are weird, and some will completely ruin your gameplay. But either way, my name is Copycat, and before we get started, I hope you all subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. The very first game in the mainline franchise is Super Mario Bros. That came out for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. Having a glitch where you can get stuck within a messed up spring if you take damage in a specific way. This works best in World 2-1, with the setup requiring you to bonk off the first Goomba and land on the second so that you don't stomp it but take damage instead. This really messes up the game for some reason, as when you approach where the spring is supposed to be, it's now invisible. Where if you try to jump on it, things will mess up even further, as you're now stuck here unable to get out. All you can do is wait until the level timer is up to restart. Or, I guess, restart the system itself, although you'll lose your progress as there's no save feature in this old title. The next to come out in Western markets would be Super Mario Bros. 2, also for the NES, but here in October of 1988. Having a glitch where you can wrong warp using a ladder and a misplaced enemy, and get trapped in a wall on the other side. This can basically happen in any spot that has a ladder, and that you can collect 5 big vegetables to spawn a stopwatch, as you needed to scoop up a frozen foe, and throw them at the perfect time so that they get stuck in the wall under the ladder. This took me tons of tries to do, but I am thankful for the Nintendo Switch Online's rewind feature, which is a ton of help if you want to do this yourself. Next, sort of just jump on top of where this enemy is, and spam the pickup button until you get it, where then you're forced into the ground. In this state, all you have to do is throw the enemy away, and press down to take the ladder, which randomly warps you back to World 1-1, but now you're inside the wall where you're stuck and unable to move. However, things can be taken even further if you press up or down the exact instance you're warped to this place, as then you can get out of the wall and actually play through the level. I'll talk about the consequences of this in a later video, just know some weird things start to happen that should not, so stay tuned for that one. The final of the original NES trilogy will be released in North America in 1991. Having a glitch where you can get stuck in a loading screen that leads to a coin heaven, where you're unable to get out of it at all. This can only be done in World 1-3, needing to be powered up with a Super Leaf, having to clear these blocks away, as well as needing to uncover the magic note block. That's the thing that you need to use to get up to the heavens. All you have to do is skillfully launch yourself in a way so that you hit off the magic note block, but also touch the regular note block on your way upwards, which, if done correctly, will corrupt your game, and this will begin to happen. Now, if you notice, the timer isn't running in this state, so it's not like you can let it run out, meaning you have to restart your system as your only means of fixing things. Next up, I want to look at the Famicom version of Super Mario Bros. 2, named the Lost Levels in North America when it was released in the Super Mario All-Stars SNES collection. Having a couple glitches in the last level of the game, World 8-4, where you can get trapped in some wacky ways. The first is by going to this specific wall, so that there's a small gap on the left that Mario can barely fit into. Then, needing to jump into it so that you'll get stuck. If you hop around a bit in this position, you'll eventually get forced through, and if you don't touch the controller at all, you'll be forced along the wall until you reach the end where you're now stuck. However, if you move around just as you're entering the wall, then the camera will scroll and you get pushed out the other side, letting you complete the level now as if nothing just happened. The other I want to look at can happen in this wall that's close to the final Bowser fight of the stage, needing to do the exact same thing of scrolling the camera just right so that you can fit into the seam on the left side. However, instead of coming out the other end or getting stuck, this time you'll get put on top of the screen in a place where you can still move around, but can't do anything including completing the stage. The timer does run so you can get out of this mess, but I guess if you're trying this in the first place that doesn't matter to you and you want to be here. Because I couldn't find a good glitch for the Game Boy Super Mario Land, I'm just going to move right on to Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Having a glitch where you can trap a P-switch within a few rotating blocks in the Chocolate Island 5 level. The setup for this is a bit complicated, as you have to be powered up with a cape flower, needing to break away these blocks, as well as fly up to the top of the screen to get the grayed out P-switch. Next, you have to carry the P-switch and take damage so you return to small Mario form, and head back to the group of blocks from the beginning. The next part can be a bit tricky, as you have to place the P-switch that you're holding just so that it slightly overlaps with the other, and then run into both, where you know you did it right if they somehow merge together and you're technically holding both at the same time. Then you just need to position Mario holding both of the switches within the blocks and flick upwards, getting them stuck between them where a few things can happen. Now, I don't really know what causes each to occur, but the first I saw is that sometimes the Yoshi question mark block can change into a rotating block, which is odd. Again, no idea why this happens. Maybe there was always a block behind it and it was never removed properly in development and that's why it shows up? Who knows? If you do, let me know in the comments. The next is that Yoshi can spawn out of the wrong block and multiple random blocks can spawn upwards. Not really changing much other than looking really strange and out of place. Finally, the rarest thing that can happen is that the Yoshi block instead gives out 1-ups that will spawn continuously out of them, which I believe is only a thing if you bring Yoshi into the level so that it isn't an egg and now is a 1-up in that block. Very weird that one collection of blocks are involved in so many glitches, and I probably missed some, so if there was any other outcomes you know of, then let me know. Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, will be released for the Game Boy in November of 1992. Having a glitch we've looked at before, but it's still a goodie, where a toad, not the character or creature, can get stuck in a platform and begin to really trip out. This happens in the first stage of the tree zone, where all you have to do is travel through the middle of this platform so that all 3 of these foes follow you and get stuck in this area, where after a while they'll start to bonk off each other, and eventually one will get trapped. It is trying with all its might to get out, but it just can't. Looking more like it's getting ready for a rave and not in the mood to fight Mario at all. The sequel to Super Mario World, titled Yoshi's Island, came out for the SNES in 1995, having a glitch that can freeze your gameplay due to one Yoshi being unable to pass you along to the other at the goal. To get this to work, you have to take damage on pretty much the same frame you complete the stage, where Baby Mario will get put within his crying bubble, but the game will think that you finished the level. The other Yoshi that appears cannot grab Mario, and now you're stuck in a perpetual goal screen where things can't be completed. There's no timer on anything, so you're trapped like this, needing to restart your system to fix this, but fortunately you shouldn't lose much as this system supports saves. There are so many other glitches where you can get stuck in this game that I already sort of showcased in my other video, the Getting Stuck in Every Mario Game video, so after this one go watch that one if you want to see more. I'll leave a link in the comments for you guys. The first game to be released within the 3D realm is Super Mario 64 for the N64, where there's a spot in Wet Dry World where you can shoot yourself out of the cannon and just get stuck in it. This is a little finicky to get right, but if you shoot yourself exactly here, you'll land in the corner of this enclosed spot that's supposed to send you to the downtown area, but instead of falling back into the water, you get trapped in an endless loop of belly flopping / trying to get up, but instead you're put back on your butt. This is pretty crazy and fun to look at. But because you can't pause while you're moving, you can't exit the stage, and therefore your game is locked, needing to restart it at this point because there's nothing else that you can do. Next up is another game based within the 3D realm, Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, where you can get stuck in the ground basically at the beginning of the game just after the fight against the toxic covered piranha. This is a bit tough to perfect and took me several tries, but what you need to do is uncover this Pianta villager that's covered in goop near the piranha, then having to defeat said piranha so the ground raises. However, at the exact same moment this occurs, you have to talk to the Pianta, and if you did it right, you'll get stuck in the ground as the depression raises without you. Probably because the game has you still interacting with this character as the cutscene plays. In the ground, you cannot do anything at all. And because you can't exit the game when you press start, you'll have to reset to fix things. But trust me, this won't happen to you unless you're going out looking for it, as it probably took me around 2 hours to finally do, but I did eventually confirm that it is possible. Nintendo would eventually return the series to its 2D roots with the release of new Super Mario Bros. For the dual-screen system, having a glitch where you can get trapped between 2 one-way panels in World 2-3. This is really easy to do as you just have to jump right here in the middle of these panels and you'll get trapped in a weird stance where you're sort of floating but you aren't really. Now, this isn't permanent, as if you just move or jump a bit, you'll be able to get out of the state and fall through one of the panels. Although it is still cool to see though. In the space-based Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii, There's a glitch where you can talk to this trapped toad from very far away if you have pretty good aim. That's because you have to fling him as he's trapped in this initial sling pod to the other one that's a bit a ways in the distance, where for some reason the prompt to talk to him appears on screen even though he's nowhere near you. I always found this toad odd, as you can kinda just straight up kill him by flinging him into the cold abyss of space, and that's never really explained and kinda morbid. Moving on now to New Super Mario Bros. Wii for the Wii, where I want to look at a glitch where you can get Yoshi stuck behind the goal pole where it appears as if he's running in place. To get this to work, you have to bring Yoshi to the end of World 4 or 5 and get damaged in such a way so that you're pushed off him, but he's still running towards the goal. If you wait just a second and then follow him, he will have passed the goal, eventually coming back, looking as if you'll be able to get back on him and finish the stage. This does not end up happening, as instead he never makes it to you and gets stuck just behind the pole, running in place looking very frustrated as he's now trapped with no way out. I thought maybe completing the level would change things, but nope, he's just trapped there forever and ever and ever. The second Space Base entry would also come out for the Wii, but here in 2010, having a glitch where you can trap Mario behind a Goomba statue in the Freezy Flake Galaxy, causing you to wig out and having to quit. This is during the Sorbetti boss mission in the second area where it's blizzarding, as with a well-timed jump you can wedge Mario behind where he's clearly not supposed to be. And because he's not technically on solid ground, if you move around too much, it looks really strange and a bit trippy. You can just return to the map, so it's not like you're stuck here forever, although to get here in the first place you sort of have to be going out of your way, so it's doubtful you'll find this by accident. Nintendo would perfectly blend aspects of the series' 2D and 3D realms with the release of Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS, which is a game unfortunately I can't film footage of, but I did find a glitch by a username of Softlocks where they got the pom-pom stuck within the fire pit of the boss area. This can happen in the World 6 airship stage, where somehow while it was spinning in its shell form, it got stuck in that fire pit and could not get out, pretty much softlocking the game. I have no idea what the setup for this is or why it happens. It is probably completely random and the user did not mean to do this. You can bonk off the boss and gain 1-ups, but I don't think there's any way of keeping them, so it is a waste of time if you're doing that for some reason. The final installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series will first come out on the Wii U, and later would be released in deluxe version on the Switch. Having a glitch where you're able to momentarily clip through the wall and get stuck within it in the Shish Kebab Tower stage of the Sparkling Waters. To do this, you need to be equipped with the Penguin Suit power-up and make your way to this section of the stage, where with some perfect timing and skill, you can slide into the wall and clip through as the elevator goes upwards into a place you'd think is solid. You aren't trapped for good here, as just jumping will cause you to clip back through to the regular stage. Something I guess could happen by accident, but you have to be goofing around a lot to make it work. Up next is Super Mario 3D World, which also first came out for the Wii U, and later would be remastered on the Switch. Having a Captain Toad base glitch where you can clip into one of the touch blocks that are found in this level of World 5. You just have to position the Toad to the left of the block so that he's slightly over the crack, but still sort of on the other platform. Where when activating the block, this lets you clip into it and walk around in it, which is kinda neat. This only lasts for a few seconds before the block deactivates, so it's not like it's that drastic of a thing at all, but I still wanted to mention it, as the Captain Toad levels don't seem to get near enough love. In the absolutely massive Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch, there's a glitch I want to look at where you can capture a Hammer Bro on the exact same frame it dies, causing your game to screw up to the point where you're now trapped within it. The setup for this is pretty tough, but you have to wait until the bros line up just perfectly so you even have the chance of getting hit by one of their frying pans, where you know you did it right if when you capture the one, it dies and then respawns on top of the coin block, which is really strange, as it's now wearing two hats with Cappy somehow being stuck underneath. Next up is Bowser's Fury, which is sort of a game mode / addition to Super Mario 3D World for the Switch, having one type of object you can get stuck within if your timing is really good in the switches. All you have to do to clip inside of them is to activate them and then wait and ground pound over them the exact second the timer reaches 0. You obviously know you did it right if the switch springs back up, but you're now within it, being able to move around while inside of it and leave at any time you want. Which sorta does suck, as the setup for this glitch doesn't amount to what you get out of it, if you know what I mean. Alright, that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, And of course, subscribe to my channel as I'm really close to 200k subs. I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!